All right, the next topic is VPS quick reference. VPC as well as VPN is also covered. So whatever we have learned in today's class and the lab exercises that we have performed, the same topics or points are summarized here. So to begin with, VPS virtual private server, it provides a guaranteed resources for the users. The example we had seen GoDaddy. Uh, we will get root access for the virtual machines so that various operating systems can be installed, application softwares can be installed, and the services can be managed. Scalable hosting facility available, ability to handle sudden increase the workloads on the server. Multiple choice of operating systems can be installed. We can choose with either Windows or Linux based operating systems in our virtual private server. The best example for virtual private server is our EC2 instances. The next one is virtual private cloud and virtual private networking. Quick reference. VPC itself behaves like a virtual router. So VPC enables you to create a conceptually separate area of AWS cloud where you can start EC2 instances in a custom virtual network. VPCs are logically isolated from other VPCs available in AWS. Virtual private clouds are created within the region and not in availability zone. Please be noted. So the VPCs are tagged to a region. However, all the availability zones in that region can access that VPC. Up to 5 virtual private clouds, VPCs can be created in a region. That is the limit. So if you need more, you can take special approval permission from AWS. Up to 200 subnets can be created under each VPC. Up to 2,500 VPC security groups can be created in a region. What is the security group? You know that the RDP port number 22 for SSH, port number 80 for HTTP. These are the things. Up to 2,500 security groups can be created. So 200 subnets means that 200 routing tables can be created. Each subnet can only be associated with one routing table. That's why we have created one private route table, one public route table, similarly one private subnet and a public subnet. We did not create only one and try to attach 2 subnets or 2 route tables to one. That is not possible. A route table is connected to each subnet and will forward traffic inside the VPC, virtual private cloud. We can create up to 5 elastic IP addresses in a region. That is the maximum limit. And the same thing can be attached to our NAT gateway, network address translator. Elastic IP will be attached to the NAT gateway. So DHCP and NACL security groups are automatically created when a VPC is created. The name will be provided in the same name. Whatever is the name that you gave for VPC, the same name will be used for security group as well as DHCP and NACL, that is network address access control list. Amazon VPC supports both IPv4 and IPv6 type of protocol. However, the AMI image that you create, which should be compatible for IPv6 enabled or supported. By default, IPv4 will be selected for all kind of AMI images, Amazon machine images. So VPC provides a complete control over virtual networking, the IP ranges, subnets, configuring the route tables, as well as the internet gateway. There are a few more information regarding the quick reference. The CIDR block range used to build VPC is between 16 and 28. You remember /16/20 that we have provided? It should be between this number only. You can give /16, 17, 18 up to 28. You cannot provide /15 or /29 or 30, 31, 32. You cannot. The CIDR block cannot be changed once the VPC has been created. So you want to increase the network range, you cannot do that. So you should decide very well in advance before creating the CIDR block. It is prohibited to generate new CIDR blocks that overlap with the existing CIDR blocks. If you have already created a CIDR block of /16, one more if you want to create with /16, it is not possible. In the availability zones, subnets are created. It is not possible to build subnet with overlapping IP address range. You remember, for while creating the subnets, we used to provide the IP address. The same IP address you cannot repeat when you want to create multiple subnets. That means we have created one private subnet, one public subnet. For both the subnets, you cannot give the same IP address. That's what it means. A custom VPC can only have one internet gateway attached. So we cannot create multiple internet gateway and try to attach to the same custom VPC. So instances in the default VPC will always have both public and private IP address. Users has to disable the public IP in case of Bastion host lab. You remember the private subnet, what we created, the private VM, deliberately we disabled the public IP address, right? That is what we are referring to here. So an internet gateway enables resources in your public subnet, such as EC2, to connect to the internet. Yes, please. So a NAT gateway provides internet access to private subnet VM to access internet through public VM. This is what we did, right? So we have created a NAT gateway and attached to the public subnet. The same thing was used in the private subnet to have the internet. So router will interconnect subnets and direct internet traffic between internet gateways, NAT gateways, and the subnet. That is what the routing table that we did. So VPC peering connection enables you to route traffic via private IP address between the two EC2 instances. The VPC peering is what we did, adding the NAT gateway and providing that NAT gateway access to the public virtual machine. Through that, the internet traffic started flowing from private VM. So VPC peering connection enables you to route traffic via private IP address between two EC2 instances. VPC endpoints enables connectivity to services hosted in AWS. VPC routes connects different availability zones together and connects the VPC to the internet gateway. We have one more. The value of auto-assigned public IPv4 address is yes in default VPC. This also we have noticed when we selected the private VPC, the custom VPC, the IPv address, public IPv address was set to disabled. It was not enabled. It was not set to yes. We need to manually select it. If no route table is specified, a subnet will be assigned to the main route table at the time of creation. So you cannot delete the default route table. This is one class. There is a default rule that allows all VPC subnets to communicate with one another. This rule cannot be deleted or modified. So because the VPC was allowing, we have created two virtual machines under the same custom VPC what we have created. It was able to communicate. What is that communication? We were able to do RDP, right? That is what the communication. It is able to communicate between each other. Egress only internet gateway provides internet access to IPv6. So in our lab exercise, we have selected IPv4 instead of NAT gateway. You need to select egress only internet gateway if you have selected IPv6 type of protocol. If a subnet's traffic is routed to an internet gateway, that subnet is known as public subnet. If a subnet does not have a route table to the internet gateway, that subnet is known as a private subnet. Same time, if a subnet does not have a route table to the internet gateway, but it has the traffic routed to a private internet gateway that is called VPN only subnet. So there are different types of settings which we had explored in the lab. So Internet Gateways supports both IPv4 and IPv6. Internet gateways must be detached before they can be deleted. So without detaching that, you cannot delete the VPC what we have created. So NAT gateways must be created in public IP only. Please note this point. This is very, very important, even during the exam as well as in interviews, these questions will be asked. NAT gateway must be created only in public. Elastic IP address is a static IPv4 address. An elastic IP must be allocated within a specific VPC and then assign it to an instance. That's what we did in today's lab. Elastic IPs are specific to our region. An elastic IP assigned to one region cannot be assigned to another region. Elastic IPs remain associated with your AWS account until you explicitly release them. Please note it is a chargeable service. While you are deleting your resources, make sure that you detach the elastic IP and you release it. So if you do not do it, till the time this elastic IP is there in your account, you will be keep getting charged. So with this, we have reached at the end of quick reference for VPS, VPC, and VPN. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the next topic.